All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Patrick Precourt here. Wow, I see a lot of new names, new faces. I've not been here before, so congratulations and welcome. It's a little before our start time. I just like getting on early, say hi to everybody. You see the box here with a question, so you can ask questions. That's kind of how we chat back and forth. So, even if you just want to say hi, reach out to me. As we go further along here, as I mentioned, some of the emails I sent you, I will ask you guys to interact. You know, we're gonna dig in hard. I'm gonna lay out the landscaping in a moment for you and what we're gonna do tonight. But I'll tell you right now, we're gonna bookends. We're gonna start here. We're gonna end at 60 minutes. It will be over at 60 minutes. I may stay on longer to entertain more questions if there's questions, but our content will be done. But along the way, I'm going to ask you to interact. It's one thing for me to sit here and just speak to you in a monologue. It works out much better when there's a back and forth dialogue. Okay. And quite honestly, we're going to take on some tough challenges today. And provided you're up for it, I'm up for it. So I'll ask you to share. Talk to me about some of the stuff that's going on. You know, whether you're in a spot where you're just flat out stuck and you're not seeing steady, consistent growth. Maybe you're in that same spot, but you're actually sliding backwards, which is more painful, you know. And make no mistake, there's nothing wrong with pain, right? The growing process requires pain, but when we don't know why we're putting in the pain, that's where suffering happens. Maybe you're on the other end of this, that you're rolling, right? But you can't just get up to that next level. Well, tonight's call is going to encompass all of that, and I'll go through the 4 topics of the call in a moment, share with you exactly what we're going to do, and I'll take you start to finish. Again, these work out awesome when we go back and forth together. Welcome Jack and Manny to the call, and Oriana, great to see you here. Yeah, I see a lot of you guys I've never met before. Victor's, congrats, thanks for being here. Mr. Fitzgerald, I know you, and great to see you, brother. Kevin, Mark and Frank, Eric, Joe and Bill and Ruth. Ruth, good to see you, hon. Ruth rocks. Brian, Mr. James. I'll keep going as we go further along. And Mr. Shaw, awesome. Steve Shaw is one of our rock stars. Steve, you ready for Thursday night? We kick it off, brother. Big time. Yeah. So as everybody's jumping on the call here, let me lay out the land. What to expect for these next 60 minutes and what I expect back from you, and we'll get right into it, okay? Everybody says, Pat, you always tell too many stories before you get into the content. Not tonight. We'll tell some stories because the stories are cool, right? The stories are what makes us who we are. I'm going to bring you through it, a little exercise too at one point. It's simple, it's easy, and it works. You'll be like, that was an aha moment, unless you don't do the exercise, which you can choose. It's up to you, right? But if you don't do the exercise, you're not getting all that you can out of our time together. Let's just crush it tonight. Let's freaking crush it. We're going to talk about this too, right? Mastery, when your purpose in life is in compliance with your actions in life. When your purpose in life is in compliance with actions in life, your actions in life. I'm going to go deeper into that. Okay, so what are we talking about tonight? This is kind of an encore call for those of you who joined us. It was 2 weeks ago. But it's not the same call. It goes a little deeper into some of the topics that were inspired by you guys that night. I'm going to switch over here. My partner checking in says audio and video look good. Sound looks good. Excellent. Thank you. Miss Barbara checking in. Thank you, Miss Barbara. Great to have you here. Miss Ruth Parker. Awesome. Oriana. Excellent. Who didn't turn off their freaking cell phone? Oh, my goodness. I don't want to be that guy, right? Steve says, just found the question button. I think that was a carryover from last Hangout he did. And after it's a pet, I couldn't find the freaking question button. If you can't ask the question button, just comment and I'll help you find it. That was stupid, I know. Eric, good to see you here, brother. Okay, so here we go. 4 topics I want to touch, and if you lay into these with me, right, we'll make some progress. I see somebody's got their hand raised. I have no idea what that means, so I wouldn't hold it up too long. Just comment in the question box if you can. And Mike's my partner. If you know what the hand raise means and we can work with that, let me know. Mr. James Ward, check it in. Great to have you here, brother. Good to see you. First tonight. So we titled this Crossing a Bridge, getting from where you are to where you want to be. No matter where you are, that doesn't matter. You're somewhere and you want to be somewhere else, right? Let's have that conversation. It's not a matter how far along this journey you are. It's just the fact that you got to keep moving forward just like I do. And stuff gets in our way, no doubt. Sometimes it stops us, no doubt. Sometimes we stand still long enough, we start going backwards. We feel like everything's stacked against us at that point. I get it. This will get us through there. This will get us over that hump. If you've been chugging and you just need that extra push to get to the next level, good. You're in the right place, right? But let's do this one together. So we're going to start out crossing the bridge. That's the title of tonight's call. Now it means something to all of us, right? First, we're going to talk about the truth behind education. I got to have this conversation on getting more education, right? You'll see why in a moment. And don't jump to conclusions on that, okay? Let's work on that. Next, how to create immediate trackable results and remove yourself from where you are, from a rut, from going backwards, from being here when you want to go there. How to create immediate trackable results. Now that's not focused on anything but results and outcomes, which is not always the right place to put your focus. But when you need the big push, it is. That's not the place you stay in 90% of the time. It's where you go 10% of the time when you go all in to get the job done. It's like either when you're losing a fight and you've got to change the tempo, or you're about to win the fight and you've got to end it. That little short period of time in each of those spaces, right? So 10% of your operating time, you'll be here. But just hearing from you, I get it. A lot of us need this right now. So the second thing we're going to go over is how to create immediate trackable results. This is a step-by-step process, really, that you're either in for or you're not. Depends on how bad you want it. And I'll share a little later by wanting it doesn't cut it anymore. Next, 3 irrefutable requirements for entrepreneurial success. And yes, it's very relative to being an entrepreneur, which most of you are. And you know what? The way the working world has changed, even as an employee, you are going to have a rock star entrepreneurial approach to keep your job. The working world has changed and is morphing as we speak. And for those who've been in corporate USA or coming through that space, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And then finally, we're going to end this call with the super critical numbers that each of us need to be tracking, both in our business or professional space and in our personal life every single day. Like, crap, track them every single day. I don't even track numbers every week. And I get it. Why would you? Nobody told you to. But when you see the power of it, right, you're like, damn, maybe that's been a piece of it. And no doubt it has been. So here we go. Again, rules are simple. That's what you are to expect of me, right? We're going to go through this. We're going to knock through this content. We're going to do it hard. Oh, for those of you who stay for the call, I got an amazing bonus for you at the end. And it's legitimate bonus. It's not some just regurgitated or old or used up thing that I did in the past. It's legit. Trust me on that, okay? Some of you already know about it. So for you, it's not really a bonus because you already got it. But not many of you. I'd say maybe 3 of you. Yeah, probably 3 of you. The rest of you, it's awesome. And it's not costing you a penny, Okay. And I'm also going to introduce you into our challenge tonight. Again, not for everyone, but for those of you who are ready for results and outcomes and income, challenge might be for you. And that's going to be the context of our call. So here we go. 8 minutes in, we're getting into the content. I say that because it took some heat last time. I said, Pat, you didn't start talking about anything until like 8:30. Well, now it's 8:08. So hopefully you guys are coming all on time. You know what's cool is we only launched this call a couple of days ago, and we got a ton of you to show up. It's one thing to get people to sign up. It's another to show up. Don't forget this. It's a big part of this conversation. Okay? Mastery, when your purpose in life is in compliance with your actions in life. Let me ask you this. And this is where the content starts, right? If I asked you in short order with absolute clarity, could you, yes or no, describe to me your purpose? There's no right or wrong here. Could you, yes or no, describe to me your purpose? I'm not asking you to describe it, but could you do it here and now? You say, what purpose? What? Your purpose for being, the purpose you're put on this earth, yes or no? That's where you respond in your Q&A. Know that there's like a 45-second delay between when I ask something and it gets back to me. Yes or no? Okay. Could you describe your purpose? Go to that question box and just yes or no. So here we go. Okay. I'm going to talk about the truth on education. Start with that. I'm going to play raise your hand game with you. Okay. Raise your hand if you've already experienced some level of higher education. Higher education is not just college. Higher education is education past what you learn in high school. The answer is yes. Many of you, most of you, I don't know you all, but many of you are entrepreneurs, which means that you self-study, which means you're in an ongoing process of education, right? So your answer would be yes, yes, yes. You know what's funny? I'm getting a lot more yeses on this purpose thing than I ever expected. You guys are awesome. Can you describe your purpose? Your answer is yes. How about I don't know? That's fair. It's not yes, no, but that. Oh, you crack me up, Catherine. How about I don't know? That would be no. So if you knew, you'd say yes. But for those who said yes, kudos. Because most people, it's true, most people can't, right? Miss Ruth, awesome. Mary, awesome. I want to thank you guys for sharing, okay? Because we're going to go through this. If you describe it, it makes it easier. If you can't describe it, it'll make this more exciting. So this is either going to be easier or more exciting for you. Either way, it's a win-win, right? Mastery. When your purpose in life is in compliance with your actions in life. The next question. If you know your purpose, Mike, I see you. Mike says, you used to think to make the world better. Well, I would say that fundamentally that all of us were put on this earth for a very specific reason. And it wasn't to make the world a worse place. It was definitely to better the world. But we got to be more specific than that. I think we would all agree, right? We can't just accept that. Yeah, to make it better, yes, good. And that's better than or none, right? No. But we need more than that. We got to go deeper than that. And you'll see that in this call. So let's hold that question. Second part 2 of that. For those of you who know your purpose, are your actions, what you do each day, in compliance with your purpose? And I'm going to give you a little hint there. If your working world is, it means, you know what? Work may be hard, may be difficult, you may not like it all the time, but as a whole, you love it. When you can say that, I'd say your work is in compliance with your purpose, is in compliance with your passion, your actions each day. Education. I'm going to suggest to you, okay, that you are all plenty educated at this point. Now, I don't know every single one of you purpose. I get it, Barbara. Barbara says no with an exclamation point. I get it. I get it. We're brought up in a world right now where, you know, when we seek out a profession out of, say, high school or education, it's not, hey, what do you love to do? What are you indigenously awesome at? It's, hey, what will pay me the most and be most secure? What will buy me the biggest house or the best car? Right? We get driven down that road. We put profit in front of purpose. We put profit in front of purpose. Profit in front of purpose equals conflict. Profit in front of purpose equals conflict. Conflict, resistance, stress, all the same things in our lives. So back to education. I'm going to suggest, okay, you don't need more education. You need more time on the mats. When you want to go somewhere that you haven't gone, it's time to step on the mats. What I mean by that is, and you'll hear me make a lot of martial arts references here, right? If you want to learn jiu-jitsu, you can fundamentally, I guess, technically learn it, gain the education on the computer. You can watch every move, every submission, memorize them, know what they're called. You could probably fundamentally teach it to somebody else because you've memorized it. You can learn the point system, but guess what? You haven't learned crap. You are not educated. You got more education, but ain't the kind that's going to do you any good. It's not the kind that's converted into wisdom. The only way you learn jits is you step on the mats and you go at it. So I'm going to suggest, just entertain me here, right? That there's a lot. There's this gap between where you are, you want to go, that bridge we talked about at the very beginning that we want to cross. It's not education. It's stopping you from getting to the other side. Stepping on the mats. That's the difference here. You don't need more drills. Drills are when in jiu-jitsu, they just go through the motions and show us how to do it. But the only way to learn it is to train it live. Will you get submitted? Yes. Will you get choked out, armbarred? Yes. Yes. It's part of the learning process. And each time it does, man, it leaves an imprint on the brain. Exactly what not to do again. That's how we learn. When you watch here, there's no freaking imprint. The only way to gain true knowledge, education, the only way to gain it is through experience, doing it. And I'm going to suggest right here now that the majority of you, the only reason you're not across that bridge, out of your rut, stop from sinking back, not over to the next level, is because something's holding you back from doing it, and it's not more education or more knowledge. Okay, something's keeping you off the mats. Quite honestly, that's probably the most fundamental reason we're on this call tonight, and we're going to get through that together. The process, and it's all about processes, right? The process to get through this is all the same for every single one of us. And to think for a second, I don't run into the same crap myself. Of course I do. Of course I do. But before letting it stuck long enough, I'll step back, plug into the process, move through it, cross the bridge. Good. Feather and cap, move on. Bunch more no's here in terms of not living my purpose. Victor says yes. That's awesome, man. James is a yes too. That's cool. All right, so that's number one, truth on education. You don't need more. Stop thinking you do. Start doing more, get on the mats, okay? It's okay to be a white belt. As a matter of fact, you should always be a white belt at something. What does that mean? White belt is the beginning of the martial arts learning process. It's okay to be a white belt at something. It's always good to be a white belt because that means you're learning, right? And let me just share one thing. I had this discussion earlier, okay, with somebody. Don't forget this. Mastery, when your purpose is in compliance with your actions in life. I want to share with you why kids are so much better at learning than we are, okay? What do kids do? When they want something, when they learn something, go all the way back to when you rode a bike. You can't remember that. I can't remember that, but we know kids that are doing it, or we had kids and whatever, right? Are they scared? Hell yeah. Do they do it anyways? Hell yeah. Do they let their limitations of complete lack of experience, knowledge, anything stop them from going for it? Hell no. In other words, they focus on the end and screw the means. You follow me? They're like, I'm going to get here, and I'm not going to worry about this. I'm going to figure it out along the way. And I will fall, and I'll scrape my knees and my elbows, and I will cry, but I'm going to get up, and damn it, I'm going to ride that bike because my drive is huge. I don't just want it. I deep down inside desire, because it means something bigger. It ain't about riding a bike. Do you know why we want to ride a bike? Now we got the big boy shorts on, big girl shorts on. It's freedom. It's maturity. It's all of that stuff. That's why we push through that fear. That's why we step up in courage instead of cower in fear. Yet as adults, we almost take the exact opposite path. Kid, when we start out learning, right? So say we have a graph here, right? And this would be how fast we learn, rate of growth, okay? And this would be time. When we start out, when we're kids, I don't care if it's walking, riding a bike, throwing a baseball, our learning curve is like this. We ain't waiting around, man. We're doing it. We're focused on the end, and we'll figure out the means along the way. And we get shit done. We learn at a freaking astronomical rate. Our minds are so wide open, we're just taking it all in. Our drive is huge. But at some point, adults get in our way. We get involved in the educational system. We start pulling back our reins, telling us why we can't, instead of inspiring us as to why we can. And this starts to happen. Our rate of learning slows down because now we're starting to consider, well, am I smart enough to do that? Am I big enough to do that? Well, I can't play football. I've never played. I don't have enough knowledge. I'm not big enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not strong enough. I can't study. I can't compete in a spelling bee. I don't know enough words. I've never done that before. We start getting all of these conjured up ideas, and instead of picking it and going for it, we start calculating and adding up our means. We're smart enough, tall enough, fast enough, have enough experience, have enough money, know enough people. But let this determine how far we'll go. And instead of continuing at a massive rate of focus on the end and figure out the means, we focus on the means. And what happens is our learning plateaus. And effectively, we lose momentum. We stop learning. You know what happens when we stop learning? We stop growing. You know what happens when we stop growing? We lose our confidence. And that right there is a stake in the ground. Right? Now think about this for a second. If we always, for you planners and analytical people, if we always used our means to figure out our ends, we could never grow because our means only got us so far. These will only get us so far. We never be able to bump it. We never be able to see magic happen. Right? Kids learn here. Adults are stuck here. Until we get a big enough drive. That's why I keep talking about this purpose, man, and aligning our purpose with our actions. A big enough drive. Just like as a child, you wanted freedom, man. You wanted to be like an adult. You wanted to be more than you were. We need that here too. We need that. Wanting is a real shitty strategy for achieving. It really, really is. You got to want it more than you want air to breathe. As if somebody has stuck you under the water and you're about to take that final breath. How much do you want to breathe at that point? That's the desire we got to touch. Follow me on that? You get there, guess what? These bridges we keep talking about crossing ain't a problem. Starting to get it? Okay. So, education, not the problem. Not the problem. This, big part of the problem. Okay? Mastery, putting our purpose in alignment with our actions. When our actions aren't in alignment with our purpose, we get this. Right? That steals our soul. That steals our freaking life right there. How many of you, and you don't have to answer this, okay, but how many of you have lost that passion, that fight? You know what I'm talking about. That thing just fires you up. That feeling like it was the first time you're riding a bike. Scared to death, thrilled to death. Two extremes. You can't freaking wait and you're scared, you're peeing your pants. That feeling. Where's that? Because if you want the most out of you, you're going to be able to tap into that. Cool? All right. Let me just, hold on. Let's close some of these. Mary says, that's my problem. I don't have a goal. We'll get back to that, Mary. Okay. Catherine says, write bigger. Okay. We'll do. Great analogy. Revelation for me, in a way, I always feel I am so engaged and busy, but I see not in the best way to mobilize my passion into reality. Busy means nothing. I just had this conversation with a student I'm working with, really great guy, very successful real estate investor, right? I told him the last couple of weeks, man, I've been a little busier than I wanted. The problem with being too busy, you think you get more stuff done, but you don't get it done as well because your focus is too distracting, and that's a great way to kill your progress. And then it gets exacerbated because you think because you're so busy, you're actually doing stuff. When in fact, you're not. You're not making progress towards whatever your goal or your outcome, your purpose is. And you're exhausted at the end of the day. But then weeks and months pass, you're like, man, I've done a lot, but I really haven't gone that far. It's like kind of riding like a 175-mile Tour de France bike race in first gear. A day in and you're like a mile down the road. All right. Eric says, building my brand. Awesome. I don't know what that was in reference to, but remember I said this little delay? Just close some of these up. Miss Ruth says, I'm tapped into that. Awesome. Hungry for results at the next level. Yeah, you are, girl. Okay, good. So you get my point on education right now. You don't need more drills. You need more training. Training is when you step on the mat and you do it. There is no failure once you're stepped on the mat. There is no failure once you've stepped on the mat. There's only feedback. Write this down. There is no failure. There's only feedback. There is no failure. There's only feedback. Feedback is either telling you exactly what to do to get the results you want or exactly what not to do in the pursuing of the results that you want. There is no failure. There is only feedback. If you see failure and accept failure, you don't learn from the feedback. Oh, yeah. But that's akin to quitting, right? Which I guess in my real life, that is the only way to really fail, is to quit. Frank says, I felt a lot like that, brother. I get it, Frankie. I get it. Okay, let's move on here. Write that down. Okay, there is only feedback. There is no such thing as failure. Ask any successful entrepreneur that you look up to. How many setbacks were required to get the proper feedback to achieve what it is they have achieved? Follow me on that? And if you want, guys, we'll get into that. We'll, our fear of what people think of us when we fail later. If you want, somebody bring that up. If that's a hindrance stopping you from moving forward, other people, your concern of what other people may think of you upon your I don't know, possible failures or something. I guess that's what we're talking about. I get it though. Okay. I want to go through 5 things now. You write these down that you use to create and achieve immediate, trackable results. Can I write them right down here? Yeah, I'll write them on the bottom here. Okay, we'll put a line here. Just make sure you can. Yeah, okay. Number 1, remember this is what I was talking about. When you got to move now, when you need a result now, when you're either losing a fight and you've got to change the tide, or you're about to win the fight. You feel you got an opening and you got to end it now. Get it? These are the 2 times. It's about 10% of your operational time. You don't stay in this mode. This is a fight or flight mode, man. This is an all in, I'm going to do it type mode, and it works, right? When you need results, this gets you there, okay? Number 1, check this out. All right, number 1, determine your outcome. Okay. Now this is when I'm talking about this. Okay, this isn't for like a 10-year plan, a 5-year plan, nothing like that. This is a short burst. You need immediate, trackable results. You need to get this train moving down the track, and you need it now. Okay. Determine your outcome. But a few things on that. Okay. Number 1, it's got to be crystal clear. Don't give me a vague outcome. Like, just say, for instance, you're feeling really crappy about yourself. You're just sick of the way you look in the mirror, whatever. You want to get healthy, lose weight. Don't tell me your outcome is to lose weight. No bullshit. Tell me I'm going to lose 5 pounds in the next 8 days. That's your outcome. All right, good. That we can work with, because number 1, it's specific. Number 2, it meets the next important piece of setting an outcome, and that it's got to be measurable. Okay. If we can't measure it, it doesn't count. And whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, you can put in measurable terms. Because if it's not measurable, we can't track it, which is number 3. So it's got to be specific, this outcome you want. It's got to be measurable, so we can measure it every single day and track it. We can watch our progress or learn from the feedback if we're not getting progress, right? And then the 4th piece of determining your outcome, your specific, measurable, trackable outcome, there's got to be a timeline to it. 5 pounds, 8 days. 5 pounds, 8 days. Get it? Okay. That's number 1. 2. This is important. Identify where you currently are. Identify where you currently are, and be freaking truthless. Truthless. Be ruthlessly honest. How's that? I was going to say true, but I had to use that word. Ruthlessly honest with yourself. Where are you right now? Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't get to the truth, you don't start at the truth, you can't change squat. We want immediate, trackable results now, right? So we got to get moving, and nothing will change unless you start at the truth. It's where it all begins. So let's go back to this weight thing. Your truth would be, well, I'm freaking 30 pounds over. Let it freaking get real. Let it hurt. Feel the pain. I'm fat. I'm fat. I'm 30 pounds over. Own it. Because the second you do, you're empowered to do something about it. And here's the cool thing. Okay, once you do this, identify where you are. Now you put a dot here, and you put a dot here. And you draw the straightest freaking line you can between the two there, okay? This is where you are. This is 8 days from now, 5 pounds lighter. We're going to fill in on this line specifically action items that move you directly to achieving your outcome and nothing else. This is how we're going to get from point A to point B. And we're going to eliminate distractions. Now you say, well, Pat, I'm easily distracted. Bullshit. You choose distraction often. Let's be honest. Again, if we're not truthful, we can't change anything. You're not easily distracted. You choose distractions often. Mental hack. If you need a mental hack, use them, right? Each time you choose to be distracted, you are creating a treason against yourself. You're creating a treason against everyone who counts on you. You're creating a treason against everyone you can possibly have a positive impact on while you're here on this earth. Let that sink in a little as you're going for that candy bar. Follow what I'm saying on this? Okay. What I typically do on this, remember, you're only in this space. This is fight or flight. You're all in on this. Write down what you're typically distracted by so you're aware of it. It's in your front mind. You're thinking, I will not allow that to happen. And at the same time, write down resources that you may have at your hand, at your fingertips, which you have, that will aid you in a short little sprint. This isn't crossing the bridge. This is getting the train moving, right? This isn't a lifestyle of fitness. This is just 8 pounds lighter. That's all. You haven't even established a new habit yet. You're just getting stuff going on. Okay. 3, you knew this was coming. Track results daily. So whatever you determine from 1, where your measuring points and your tracking points, make sure you track them daily, right? Write them down. Put them on a chart. Graph them. Whatever makes it so freaking real to you, okay? Get going with that. Number 4. Accountability. Don't rely on yourself. Don't rely on yourself. You're relying on your willpower. You don't have any new habits established yet. You have a habit of not doing whatever it is that we're going to do here, okay? Your willpower will not get you through this because your environments are more powerful than your willpower. And your environment's got you to where you are now. Let's just, again, be honest. Set up accountability. Accountability's got 2 parts. Responsibility, that I and only me am responsible for my outcomes. I choose what happens to me. I've chosen everything that I have in my life now, and I chose everything I will be receiving in my life. That's responsibility. Accountability is to stop, basically you stop repeating the things that have gotten you the results you haven't wanted. Accountability is when you stop doing the things that haven't gotten you the results that you wanted. You can't have real responsibility without genuine accountability. So many people say, I'm responsible. Yeah, but you keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. So how responsible are you really? All right, let's have that conversation. Eric says the car without gas doesn't move. Yeah, I had a growth since last webinar. Awesome, Kathleen. Share with us your growth, because that's awesome. Congrats on that. Last webinar was only a couple weeks ago, which means you're a rock star. Does not take long. Change doesn't have to take years or months or weeks. It happen now. Second you choose it. But you've got to, we'll talk about this, but you've got to make the choice, the real choice. Sink or swim. My issue is I take action and I seem to find the people who are dream breakers. Why I don't attract, why the word got messed up, but why I attract these bad people. We'll talk about that, Mike. Okay, because you choose. Listen, brother, I'm going to be honest with you. Mike's a good dude. He always comes straight from a position of love and truth, right? Dude, you choose those people. You choose those people. And maybe it's a way for you to avoid having to be responsible and accountable in your life. Because now you can blame the dream suckers. Just throwing that on the table, man. Right? Steve says willpower sucks. Willpower only sucks when we rely on it as a primary source of fuel. We shouldn't have to willpower our way through life. We should be passionate and driven in what we do. Right? And then not rely on willpower. If that runs out, have somebody hold us freaking accountable. An external driver. You'll hear me use a different word, intrinsic and extrinsic. This is the one time I like, an extrinsic driver, something external to you, right? The rest of the time, I like it coming from the inside, internal. But you'll see how the two are to be used. External is motivation. Internal is inspiration. They're two completely different sources of fuel. Einstein's definition of insanity, yeah, repeating the same stupid things over and over and over again, which means that we all have a tad of insanity in us. Because for any of you, including myself, to claim that we ain't done that, right? We all have. There's reasons why. Kathleen says, I brought up the private dollar phobia last time. So last time on the call, she talked about having an issue going out, reaching out to other people and asking for private investors who'd be interested in making a ton of money working with her. Had a revelation about it and had a conversation with my father that made me not give a damn about what he thinks. Good girl. That's the way it should be. What if I told you guys that you have, let me rephrase that what people think of you is none of your business. You're just being nosy. What if I said that to you? What people think of you is just none of your freaking business. It's true. But thank you for sharing that, Kathleen. Did I get to, all right, so accountability. Yeah, find someone genuine, authentic, and hard on you to hold you accountable. Who well, you call it tough love, who will be tough through love, right? And then finally, 5, never miss a day. Progress builds on our own self-confidence. Progress gives us self-worth. When we take a day off, we steal that from ourselves. And there is no better way to put your dreams in the gutter than to crush your own confidence by taking time off. Put this in context of this short operation here, right? So again, for those of you, and this is many of you on this call, and I get it, I'm totally there with you, okay? Kathleen is just learning that now. When you've got to move, when things have got to change, when you're no longer willing to accept your current results and outcomes, when you're no longer willing to choose to accept your current results and outcomes, say this with me. I choose my results and outcomes. I choose my results and outcomes. Because once you say that and you own that, you can also choose different ones. When you say, I don't choose them, they happen to me, guess what? Then you can't do anything about it. And you're giving up that power by choice. Steal that shit right back. Own that. Just like you're telling me here, Kathleen. You can make a difference quickly. Nothing wrong with doubters. Every week I get hate mail. It's cool. Here's the thing about it. Number one, I don't care what people think about me. And I don't mean that in a derogatory, pompous, arrogant way. I mean it from the position of it's just none of my responsibility. I'll do my job. I believe in what I do. And if people love it, awesome. If they don't, awesome. They're allowed to have different opinions. And I honor that too. Just like you should. I honor that you don't like me. Because you don't have to. And you have just as much free will as I am. And that's cool. Follow? Cool. Okay. How does this apply to the challenge? I'm going to get to the challenge later in the show, okay? But you are going to get invited to our wholesale challenge for those of you who are in this space of entrepreneurialism and real estate. The wholesale challenge is pretty simple, man. It's a program I plug you into. That, yes, I give you the education, the thing, and I said you don't need more of. We give you all the how-to, okay? But I give you a specific outcome. I identify currently where you are, where you're going to be, and the outcome is very simple. We're just going to do a deal together. Each of us are going to do a deal in the next few weeks together. That's it. Very simple. And for those you know, and the space of wholesaling real estate, you know, to earn a $5,000 check on a deal is on the low end, which is pretty cool. Anybody will teach you how to wholesale. I will get you in this fight or flight mode to get this done, okay? We're going to put where you are, and we'll get to terms. You and I will get real as to where you are, where you got to be, one deal later, and exactly step by step, day by day, what needs to be done to get to that outcome. This is a very confined bookend program, right? It's not for everyone. As a matter of fact, it's probably very few of you who this is for, which is fine because we have 4 spots left to fill in a program, which is totally cool. But for those who want to look into it, go to wholesalechallenge.com at some point or tonight and check it out, wholesalechallenge.com. If you need to get that deal done, if you need that confidence back, if you need to get your train rolling down the track, okay? That's what we're doing. We're going to do it as a group. The accountability is going to be through the freaking roof, okay? We're going to track results every single day. You're going to have a clear path as to where you are, where you want to go. And our outcome is going to be black and white, as black and white as it comes. So we got number 1 done, right? Truth on education. We got number 2 done. How to create immediate, trackable results. Let's go on to number 3. Website, again, wholesalechallenge.com. From Frank, I choose my results and outcomes. I choose to be awesome as a dad by doing what I love, jiu-jitsu. Awesome, Frank. And for those who are not familiar with martial arts, that may not make total sense to you. Martial arts will shape you as a person into the person you're meant to be. Right? And Frank is a phenomenal martial artist. And Frank, I don't know if you remember this, but you were my first MMA coach back in 2008, 9, 8, 7, 8, something like that. Was it right? Yeah, just about right. Yeah, so Frank's a fantastic martial artist. His focuses his energy on jiu-jitsu now, and is a very advanced martial artist there, and does a freaking phenomenal job, and of course a phenomenal dad. So Frank, thanks for that comment, and you get the connection. I choose to be great, and that's when everything changed. I chose to be great. That's when everything changed. And I would assume you put a definition on great, Eric, as well, because great is one of those words that is a little elusive, defined a little differently, right? We get it. Mr. Steve Shaw, I choose my results and outcomes. You're awesome, man. I'm excited for you. Steve's in on this program. Let's Steve, see, I want you to come back like in 6 weeks. We'll pull you up, put you on a pedestal, right? And interview you on this call. So what this journey looked like. That'll be totally cool, right? All of the learning that went along with it. You're welcome there, Frankie. Frank did know, 2008. Awesome, man. From Mary says, I like your MMA references. The guys I hang with make me watch it every day. It's paying off now. Yeah, martial arts taught me so much about life. There's so many comparisons to life. Just when you think you got control of the situation, martial arts, you realize how much more you got to go. And such is life, right? And such is life. It's kind of crazy. And you'll have days when you're just a rock star on the mat, and other days when you get your ass kicked by everyone. And you're like, what the freak just happened? I laughed at that. All right, let's get on to number 3 here. So don't screw up my timeline. Pushing on the time here. Love the comments, though. Third one, 3 irrefutable requirements for success. Now, man, this is I could spend an hour on this alone. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go through this, okay? And then I want to get through my content in an hour, and then we might come back and dig this one longer if you have time, okay? Steve says he will do it. You're a good man. 6 weeks from now, Steve, we're going to explain how you went from here, your truth, to this objective, this goal, this wholesale deal, exactly what it took to get there. You know what? The truth is, this is what, if success is above the line and like failures or setbacks are below the line, you know what this is going to look like? This is going to look like this, man. The success will get, you'll start out even, right? And it'll slowly start penduluming to your favor. You cross the line with a victory. You know what will happen next? This is how it happens. You'll be like, I'm a rock star. I'm on top of the world. This is freaking awesome. But then you're like, damn, I'm only here. Which is way better than here, but it's all perspective. I'm only here. And I want to go way to freak out here. And you're like, wow, now I'm back. You know, so now the curve starts all over again like this. Right? And slowly gets better. And such is life. Such is martial arts. Such is every belt. Important to be a white belt at something always. 3 irrefutable requirements for success. We'll go here. Number 1. Can you see this high? Go here. Focus. 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 Synonymous. Clarity. All right. So picture this. Imagine for a second you have a target, say about this size, right? Sitting down at the end of the football field, 120 yards down. It's from end line to end line, not the goal line, but end line, right? 120 yards down. You get the circles, right? You get a rifle, high-powered rifle, but it's just got the two little, you know, that thing and that thing. They got to kind of line up like that, right? What are your chances of hitting that target? Shit, my eyes can't even see that far. Never mind, not this ring, not this ring, not this ring, but this little bullseye, that thing in the middle. And so you ain't going to hit shit. It's out of focus. You can't see it. Now check, imagine if you put a high-powered scope on it. It's got crosshairs on it. And it's got a dial to adjust for distance, right? So to adjust for the settlement of the bullet over 120 yards. And you got a bipod to rest the rifle on. And you dial this thing in, and that target that you can't, that bullseye that you can't see the naked eye, damn it, now looks the size of a grapefruit to you, right in front of your face. And you got a big crosshair written on the grapefruit. That's what this looks like to you. What are your chances of hitting that target now? The answer is you're nailing that thing because you're focused. You've got clarity. All right, this is simple, okay? Focus is made up of what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. Okay? We can touch back on these after. But when you're trying to achieve an outcome, know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're going to get it done. What I'm doing, I'm going to get a deal done in 5 weeks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lose 5 pounds in 8 days. Why am I going to do it? Because I feel like shit right now, and I want to feel better. I want to know I can do it. I want the belief back that I can get something done. How am I going to do it? Well, I'm going to stop eating after 8 o'clock. I'm going to drink a gallon of water every day. I'm going to cut out sugars for a week. Sugars includes bread. So we do that, you'll lose a poundage no matter what. I don't care if you had exercise or not. You'll get it done. Good. Write it down. This total, the sum of those 3 things equals your process. Okay? That makes sense? Do this exercise with me. And do it if you want to gain from the exercise, do it with me, okay? I want you to look around the room that you're in, okay? And see, it's hard for me to pick out the right color because I'm not in your room. But, all right, look around and find everything in the room right now that is black. So look around. Don't write it down. Black, 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 black. Find black, okay? Now do this. Do it right, okay? Now, you good? Got everything that's black? I want you to cover your eyes. Don't look at me anymore. Don't look at cover your eyes. So I'm going to ask you a question now to tell me what in your room is black. Say it. Just say it to yourself, I don't care, as quick as you can. The guy I know the current right here is, the computer monitor is, 2 pens on my desk are black. My bookcase shell is black. I got a lot of black in this room. Okay, good. All right, uncover your eyes. You probably did pretty good on that test, okay? Now, I want to do it with another color. Look around and find brown. Stay with me. Brown. What's brown in your room? Find brown. Got it? This is almost done. Now cover your eyes. Do not look. Okay, cover your eyes. Now I want you to yell out immediately everything in your room that is yellow. What just happened? Now stop. Look at me. Okay? Look around your room. There are yellow things in your room. I hope. Right? But you didn't focus on them. You focused on the brown and you focused on the black. So you received in your life that which you focus on. You receive in your life that which you focus on. Say this all the time, man. If you want to find miserable, shitty people, they're out there everywhere. Just focus on it. You want to find people full of road rage? Look for it. You'll load it into your lives. If you want to find people that don't like you because of the way you talk, the way you look, the way you dress, the color of your skin, look for them. They're everywhere. But so are people that love you and don't even know you. So are people that are so excited about the potential that humanity has that they'll accept you into their open arms as a family member just for being you. Those people are out there too. You will attract into your life and find everything that you focus on. Okay? So we're talking about irrefutable requirements for success. Focus is number one. Make sure you focus on the right thing. Because you focus on the wrong thing, the power of focus will work against you. Okay? Next here. We kind of mentioned this one. Make sure you get enough room here. Okay, commitment. You have in your life everything right now that you deserve. You've heard me say that before. You have everything that you deserve, and to the exact degree that you deserve it. If you want to deserve more, increase your commitment to deserving more. The commitment level of wanting is not enough. Just like that little boy, that little girl you once were, learning to ride a bike, there's got to be a deep down desire to have it, which goes way beyond wanting. Wanting is a shitty strategy for achieving. I want it more than the air that you breathe. Okay? You've got to increase your commitment. Now, commitment, drive comes from 3 places. I want to share this with you. You may have heard this before. Okay? You may not. Put it over here. 3 places that this comes from. Number 1 is biological. Biological. If you haven't noticed, I was a kid in class that sucked at spelling. Number 2, response drive. And number 3, intrinsic. Trinzik or something. See, good thing you can't see that far, or you see how bad a spelling I am. Okay, these are the three components to drive. Commitment come from a deep-seated drive, not a want. That makes sense? So drive, biological. What's your biological drive? That's what keeps us alive. That's what keeps the human race rolling. That's desire to eat, drink, and have babies, have sex. That's given to us to make sure that we live, that the race is perpetuated. We got that. Response drive. That's the drive we're taught starting in kindergarten all the way up to corporate USA. That's the carrot and stick gig. That's a punishment and reward system. You do well, you get more. You do not so well, you get less. You get punished, right? That's a shallow drive because it constantly needs to be increased to get the same level of performance. If you don't know that to be true, have some kids. And you'll get that, okay? But it's true. And that's why monetary incentives only go so far in the working space when you're talking about getting peak performance out of people. They fall flat on their face. I'm talking about you, okay, increasing your depth of commitment here, right, as a piece of your success. In order to increase your commitment, you got to increase your drive. Drive comes from a biological drive. That's just there. Don't worry about that. Your response drive, which is good. It's good to understand. That works well when they're in that 10% fight or flight space that we talked about already. Okay? This one. That says intrinsic. The intrinsic drive. Okay? This is, remember I said motivation and inspiration? Motivation external, inspiration internal. Intrinsic is inside here. Okay? Intrinsic is the second paycheck that we get for doing what we do. For all intents and purposes, we get a paycheck in a working capacity of a monetary paycheck or materialistic paycheck, right? We're all used to that, and that falls under our response types drives. But there's a second paycheck, and this paycheck is bigger unless we discount it. Unless we discount it. This is the paycheck, the intrinsic drive, satisfaction we have, knowing we're part of something bigger than ourselves, committed to something bigger than ourselves. This goes back to working in a space, doing what you love to do because you're working within your purpose. When you're outside your purpose, you discount your intrinsic drive. When you're going through the pain, but you don't know why you're going through the pain, you discount your intrinsic drive. This is knowing we do good. This is knowing we're making a difference, having an impact. Have you ever done something that it didn't matter whether you got paid for it? You did it because you loved it, because it made you feel good. Felt good because you got a massive intrinsic reward for it. This is the philanthropic side of what we do. When you're actually able to put these two together, this goes through the freaking roof. Okay? You want to increase your drive, you got to increase your commitment. Your drive, or if you want to, rather, you want to increase your level of deserving, you got to increase your commitment. Your level of deserving results in exactly everything that you have. And accept that to be true, that you have everything that you deserve. You have everything that you deserve. Want more? Deserve more. Want to increase your level of deserving? Increase the depth of your commitment. Do that like you needed air to breathe. Okay? And then the third one here, right, is purpose. We loosely talked about this kind of as we as started, right? And needless to say, these two are closely tied to one another. Intrinsic value comes out of operating in your purpose, right? That's where mastery comes into play, self-mastery. So You say, what is the highest level of fulfillment in life? Well, it's becoming all that you can be. Becoming all that you can be. Taking all the God-given skills, talents, innate, unique, special to you that are unlike anyone else's, and maximizing them while you're here, which means you have the greatest impact while you're here. That's your highest level of fulfillment. Self-actualization. Self-actualization. The paradox is, as you pursue that, your potential becomes more. So you're constantly increasing your potential and chasing it down at the same time. But that's another discussion. Purpose, okay? Real quick, purpose comes from being engaged in what you do, right? Meaning that you're here doing it because you want it. Your purpose comes from being engaged what you do. If you're not engaged, you won't be the best you can be at it. You will not have an intrinsic paycheck coming out of it, which will then further your demise and your desire to be the best at it. See how those two are closely tied together? Okay. Number two, called progress. In order to achieve your purpose, you have to constantly making forward steady progress, because our job is to self-actualize, to become all we can be. It's a constant pursuit of self-mastery, being the best we can, given the tools and skill sets that we have. And if there's no progress, there's no pursuing of the purpose. We'll lose engagement. We'll discount our intrinsic value. Before you know it, we wake up and we have no purpose. We have no passion. The flame has been put out. Anybody know what I'm talking about there and how that feels, right? And finally, we have to present ourselves with challenges equal to our talent. Challenges equal to our talent. What that means is stop creating ungodly goals that you don't buy into, that you don't believe into, that are beyond your comprehension of achievement. It will break your will. It will steal your soul along the way. You'll stop making progress. Your self-confidence will wane. Your progress will slow down more to where you're no longer making progress. You'll lose track of your purpose. You'll lose your second paycheck. Now we're back to the carrot and stick approach to grinding through each day, where you're just doing it to pay freaking bills. You're starting to get this? You're in a constant state of resistance, as if there's somebody behind every door that we open. There's somebody just to punch us square in the face. Focus, commitment, purpose, right? All contribute to the three irrefutable requirements for success. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up with this. Ran a couple minutes long. I apologize for that, but hopefully you're digging this stuff. Okay. Let's do one thing here. I'm 100 yards away with blinders on from Barbara. You can change that, Barbara. You can you go back to that exercise we did on the other side. You can change it. That's a choice. Sometimes it just all starts with the truth, right? That our choices have resulted in where we are. Our choices. We have chosen to be where we are. Either consciously or subconsciously. We've chosen it. We own that. And the second you take on that responsibility, now you can enhance your accountability to do something about it, okay? So the last thing I'm going to share with you here, okay, are supercritical numbers to track. I want you to write this down. G to G. Gap to goal. Gap to goal, okay? There's 4 things you need here to define the numbers that we should be tracking. This is in your personal life, and this is in your professional life, your any life, right? We should always be making progress. It shouldn't be random progress. It should be very specific progress. In order to do that, we have to be aimed at something and in focus, like we talked about. The second we focus on it, we can create a path, put on a path exactly what we have to do to achieve it. Now, we can break it down. So let's just say, hypothetically, all right, You had a goal to make, I don't know, $5,000 a month. I don't know what the number is. It doesn't matter. Gap to goal would be simple. Where are you now? First day of the month. And you start this every first of the month. And every day you have trackable results. Numbers that we keep an eye on of things that are important to you. Now, so you say you may be tracking physical results. You may be tracking monetary results. You may be tracking relationship results. You may be tracking friendships. You may be tracking how nice a person you are or not each day. That's fine, because there's a way to track it all. Okay? Whatever you want to improve, you've got to write down each day. Gap to goal. What is that? Start the beginning of the month. Okay? This is your where you want to be. Whatever this is. Okay? We'll use I'll do this a few different ways. And if somebody wants to share something with me, I'll do this for you right now. Okay? Let's say the end of the month was $5,000. Right? Where are we on that path right now to earning money this week? We're at 0. Our gap to goal on day 1. Gap to goal is $5,000. Right? This will have day 2, day 3, day 30, if it's a 30-day month. And each day, you're going to track how far are you from your goal. Because remember, you have a plan, a process that we talked about earlier to achieve here. Okay? Now, in the trackability, these numbers that we're going to put on these, and again, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a relationship you're tracking improvement on. Anything and everything can be handled here. But it's important that, number 1, what we're tracking is specific. Here it's dollars. That's pretty damn specific. Number 2, it's measurable. Here it's dollars. Very measurable. I'll show you how we do this on a daily basis. Number 3, it's got to be trackable. If it's measurable, we can track it. We can watch tracking until you see the progress of it each day. And then finally, it's got to be a time of achievement. Now, this might be 30 days. This might be 6 months. This might be a year. Whatever it is we're working on here. Okay? That's all cool. Doesn't matter. Let's just say it's 30 days, though. What we're going to do is we're going to take the 5,000 and we're going to divide it by 30. I don't know what that comes out to be. It comes out to be something, though, right? 30 days times 100 be 3,000. So was it 2,500? Is that right? Maybe. Or $250? Is that right? 200 would be 6,000. No. 1,500? It's something. Yeah, it's definitely something. Say it's $150 a day or something. Let's just say it is. You'd have a daily goal. Right? At the beginning of the month, because you have 30 days to work with, that would be $150 a day. At the end of each week, you would tally up your gap to goal and divide it by the remaining days. Let's say we had a really good first week and we earned $2,500. Our gap to goal would now be $2,500. We'd still have 21 days left. So now we would divide the $2,500 by 21 days, right? And we'd get, I don't know, $110 or something a day left to earn or something. No? No. $50, $60, something like that. Starting to get me on this? The magic here is this, okay? You have a timeline broken into daily segments. You start out where you're starting to where you're going to go, and that's defined as your gap to goal, your total space you got to cover. each day you'll have a goal based on your gap to goal divided by the amount of days you have to do this project, this outcome that we're trying to improve in our lives. At the end of each week, we adjust the daily goal. Either it's going to go up, go down, or stay the same. But now every day we have a pulse on whether or not we're going to make the outcomes that we committed to. That kind of makes sense? That's the same process we're going to follow in the wholesale challenge. That creates our accountability. Every week, the team is going to report back in with these numbers, and they'll be very specific, right? But it's not going to be just for our outcomes. We're going to have lead generation that we're going to track. So we know to do a deal, I know how many leads you got to generate, which means I know how much marketing has to go out. So we'll track our marketing, track our response rates, our leads. We'll know if we're going to meet this based on the marketing that's going on. I'll tell you right now, when I see that you don't put the marketing on, I can tell you long in advance that you're not going to do the business. Starting to get this? It's not by chance, it's by design. And that's why I said this that I just shared here should be inclusive in all of your lives, meaning not just in the dollars, but in your relationships, in your philanthropic side, and how you're trying to improve as an individual. You may say, well, I have a goal. I have a goal to read, I don't know, X amount of books over X amount of time. Figure out how many pages a day you have to read to make that happen. Put that on, just tracking. You want to see your life change? Read a book a week. Your life will change without exception. Without exception. Well, I guess the exception would be that you read crappy books. Mr. Vargas says, do you not include weekends, right? If you take weekends off from whatever project you're working on, you would subtract those days from the days you have to get the job done. Correct, Robert. Good to see you here, brother. Awesome. Does that all make sense to you guys? And that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up. We're about 15 minutes late from our total start to finish. That's not too bad. So now, listen, now stay on a bit longer for any kind of open Q&A. If anybody's got a challenge you want to speak up and share something, good time to do it. I will say, okay, oh yeah, I got to give you our gift too. Yeah, let me say this, okay? For those who want to check into the wholesalechallenge.com, okay? wholesalechallenge.com, okay? wholesalechallenge.com. It'll tell you all about it. It's not for everybody. It's for somebody who is in that space where they want immediate change. They want confidence back. They want to start finding that passion. This isn't just about how to do real estate. It's about the more important stuff that we talked about, okay? And our measuring stick is achieving this one specific goal and outcome. Now, if you're not certain if this is for you or not for you, okay? Which some of you may be in that space. You can go to our website, patrickprecourt.com, patrickprecourt.com. No, check that. Go to, do this. You know, I'm going to make this easy. Go to, hang on, let me see if I get it here. I'm going to make this super. You know what? If you're questioning whether or not this is good, let's just have a conversation. You and I hop on a phone. You can go to patrickprecourt. Is there any room left here? Yeah. Check this out. This is so cool. Precourt. You can book. .me. Patrick Precourt. Oh, there's no dot there. Take that dot out. Patrick Precourt. You can book .me. There is a dot there. Put that dot back. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I forget it. Patrick Precourt. You can book .me. If you want to just have a conversation, see if this is right for you. All right, go there. That's a calendar system. It pulls right from my Google Calendar. You and I can sit and have a conversation. All right, so let me ask you, any other you can book.me. My partner's putting it in there right now. Any other questions or comments on this before we wrap up? You guys are awesome, by the way. You're sharing back and forth here, okay? So what, like I said from the very beginning, it's what makes these calls work. A monologue coming just from me to you doesn't necessarily serve you in that capacity, okay? Barbara, if you want to share what you put there, that you feel like you're 100 yards away with blinders on, let's have that conversation. I was talking with somebody earlier, and they said, Patrick, my problem is fear. Like, fear what? Fear people are going to reject me. Like, let's talk about that. What are they going to reject you for? Well, not really reject me. I'm afraid they're going to not accept me. I'm like, we're talking about is rather new to this real estate game, and buyers or sellers we're going to accept him. I'm like, listen, man, you're beating around the freaking bush. We can talk vaguely as long as you want, but we ain't going to fix crap until you get to the point here. Well, I'm new, and I don't know if they're going to be okay with the fact that I'm new. All right, great. Thank you for getting to the truth. Remember I said nothing can change until you get to the truth? If he just stuck with, I'm afraid, I can't fix that. I'm afraid they're not going to accept me. Can't fix that. That's accept you for what? You don't even know them. Why wouldn't they accept you? Right? Pat, I'm afraid that they'll think I'm too new. That's easy enough to overcome. Tell them. What are you going to be afraid of? Tell them, hey, Mr. Homeowner, my name is Pat, and I'm interested in your house. You said you're interested in selling. I'm interested in buying. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm very new at this. But that doesn't mean I can't take care of you. As a matter of fact, I'll never put you at risk. I don't make a penny in this whole transaction, so you get everything you want first. And I'm willing to put my time, my energy, and my resources. And although I'm new, I have resources, which I'll share with you. I'll put them on the line. If you're willing to give me a chance. What do you have to be afraid of then? Does it cost them to schedule a consultation? It does not. No, it doesn't. Only 4. We only need 4 more for the program, so I'll still have a consultation with you. Yeah, peak performance, we're getting on to that. But anyways, my point in that right there. Thank you for that, reminding me of that, Robert. God, I'm quick to forget. If you don't get to the specific challenge, you can't solve for it. If you continue to talk in vague terms, all you're doing is avoiding the truth. You can't change anything until you get to the truth. Great class, Pat. Thank you. That's from Mr. Steve. You're very welcome, Steve. Currently about the real estate trading course. Should I complete that? Don't know. Don't know what, like I said, this isn't about the education, Greg. There's plenty of education. As a matter of fact, our wholesale training is awesome. And I'll give you some things that are freaking ninja. But you can learn that shit out there for free. That is not what's stopping us from getting to where we want to go. Let's be honest. Again, till we get to that spot of truth, right? Nothing can change. Peak Performance Mastery. Just I thought I saw something. I think I just nicked somebody. But thank you for that comment there, Greg. Let's have a conversation. No way I can discuss it with you. Like if you're with one of my guys that I count on and rely on, and they're bringing you through the process, Greg, you're good to go, brother. I'll be honest with you, that's for sure. That part you'll never have to question of me. But I realize I'm not focused at all, and probably I just distract myself by focusing on too many things. All right, I'm going to answer that, but let's get peakperformancemastery.club. Peakperformancemastery.club. This is your gift. Thank you, Robert, for saying this. Hang on. Peak Performance Mastery.club. peakperformancemastery.club. Peakperformancemastery.club. It was a program we originally created to have a broader impact at a much lower price point, so that everybody could become part of it, and our reach could be much broader, right? When you look at your value you bring to the world, it's measured in two ways. One is scale, how many. Two is magnitude, how deep you go with them, right? Well, Peak Performance Mastery.club was created for the sole purpose to enhance our total value. And we put a price point on it. And then it occurred to us that some people will not pay for it, not because it's not of great value, but because they won't pay for anything. And those are the people that probably need it the most. So a few weeks ago, we decided, you know what? Screw it. This is about impact, this program. So let's just give it. And you guys will be the first time we've announced it like publicly like this, that we're giving it away for free. That's having an email I shared like a week ago. And you are welcome to join. It doesn't cost you a penny. And it's a growing community of awesomeness in it. Okay. Each week you'll hang out with me, do a live video presentation, short one, just to get fired up on Mondays. We do a monthly give back challenge together, do a monthly interview series, interview people not on their successes, but when they hit bottom, when they're in hell, what it took, the next few steps out of hell on their way back up to their amazing success. That discussion. Those are interesting conversations. And there's much, much more in there, but the idea is to generate an amazing community of support, accountability, responsibility, commitment, right? All of that stuff. Increase our level of deserving. So, Ms. Barbara, I realize I'm not focused at all and probably just distract myself by focusing on too many things. Good. At least we're getting to it, Barbara. We're not there yet, okay? But we're getting there. Let's be honest, right? So this may or may not be you, but I'm sure there's other people that can relate to this because it's all part of it, right? We choose distractions. We may camouflage them as I'm focused on other things. No, you're not focused. You're completely out of focus. So you can't be focused on too many things. You're out of focus on all things. You can't be focused on too many things because there's only one thing that you can focus on at a time. And if you're focused on it, nothing else exists. Follow me on that? It's like that gun, that scope, that crosshair. It can only be lined up on one thing. If you're over here, you're not over there. And if you're over here, you're not over there. And if you're going back and forth, you're not on either. Get me? So, just your words here. I realize, good start. You realize I'm not focused at all. Good. Admitting that you're not in the spot you got to be. Probably just distract myself by focusing on too many things. Let's just, no probably. I intentionally distract myself to avoid what? Let's get to it. What are you trying to get away from? Let's get to it. When we get to that, and that's properly answered, now we can make progress. And this exercise is for all of us, right? Distractions don't happen to us. We choose them. Distractions don't happen to us. We go out and find them. And there's a million different types out there, right? I don't buy this. I got, entrepreneurial ADHD. No, I don't buy that. I'm sure clinically somebody somewhere has some real form of attention deficit disorder. I'm not insulting or downplaying that, but the vast majority of people diagnosed with it, that's such a pile of hogwash. And the medications that go along with it are junk too. But I know that's not you. That's not what I'm talking about here. I just got a little sidetracked there, Barbara. But if you want to share what you're distracting yourself from intentionally, we'll go deeper. All right, got that. Great class. Thank you for that, Steve. I answered Mr. Greg. Frankie says, thanks, Pat. Thank you, Frank. Frank's a good dude, man. Peak Performance Information, got that one. Thank you for reminding me of that, Mr. Vargas. Steve Shaw says, great class, Pat. Thank you. Love it. Got Barbara. I'm just closing these previous questions. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Mary. Steve. All right, I think I got off. There's nothing else. We're gonna wrap it up on that note. Barbara says, awesome question. What am I avoiding? It always comes down to that. Always comes down to that. Is it a fear we're bobbing and weaving from? Is it something that a perceived pain, which is kind of the root of procrastination? What is it you're avoiding? You don't have to answer that, right? But think about it. Hopefully it'll serve you going forward. I want to thank you guys. You've been awesome. Check me out at wholesalechallenge.com. If you'd like to speak one-on-one first, have a conversation, patrickprecourt. You can book.me. And then finally, you're all welcome, invited, encouraged to come become part of Peak Performance Mastery .club. You guys have been awesome, man. Peace. This is the